Hey, wanted to share some scripture for you today. Um, I find really interesting and something that I found encouraging. So in Genesis chapter 18, um, we see where the Lord and I believe some angels came and visited Abraham, and they were visiting with him and telling him about Sodom and Gomorrah, that he was going to go down and visit with Sodom and Gomorrah, and how they were, what his plans were. So here it says, shall I hide from Abraham the thing that I plan to do, seeing that Abraham will surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. So he came to Abraham and he said, because of the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great and their sin is very grievous, I will go now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it. Now, I believe that Jesus knew, the Lord knew at that point, like he knows everything. He knows everything. So he knew, but I believe this scripture, it stood out to me that it is a form of justice. It is a form of fair, that he wanted to give Sodom and Gomorrah a chance. So he would go and see what was for himself. And he spoke to Abraham about this, and Abraham begins to negotiate with the Lord, and he begins to ask, and he negotiates with him and said, if there's 50 people, and he said, if there's 50, I will not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And he goes on down to, he says, maybe if there's 10, and he negotiates with the Lord all the way down to 10. And listen to this. And the Lord said, if there's 10, if 10 shall be found, he said, I will not destroy for 10's sake. When you think of Sodom and Gomorrah, and you think of that city, and you think about our current situation in our nation, you think about this and how the Lord works and how the Lord sees you, how the Lord sees his people. If there's 10 righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah, God would not have destroyed it, because God sees the influence that 10 righteous people would have had on the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, which weren't just little bitty cities somewhere. These were thousands and thousands of people. An operating city. There were 2 cities. And but to think of it this way, if there was 10, the Lord would not have destroyed it, because I believe when I read this, it said, just imagine God's people, where the Lord has planted you, where the Lord has you right now in your family, in your job, in your homes, and you feel like you're all by yourself, or you feel like you don't have any form of influence. You as a person on your own does not, but greater is he that is in you than he that's in the world. Heaven sees you completely different. The influence that you have in your family, on your job, in your community, that's how heaven sees you. So I wanted to encourage you, because if you just see yourself the way that the Lord sees you, I believe men and women are going to begin to make a mighty, mighty difference in their families and communities.